Concentrate on cultivating values like compassion, bravery, and wisdom. These are the real places to find fulfillment. The Stoic school of thought encourages us to place more emphasis on cultivating our inner values than on acquiring material goods characteristics that are under our control and can result in long-lasting satisfaction, include justice, courage, wisdom, and calmness. We might discover a deep sense of meaning and fulfillment in life by valuing these qualities and making an effort to cultivate them. Furthermore, an overindulgence in materialism might result in uneasiness and insecurity. We could continuously be afraid of losing what we have, or make comparisons to someone who appear to have more. This attachment prevents us from living in peace and tranquility by starting a vicious cycle of jealousy and dread. Stoic philosophy teaches us to exercise detachment in order to break free from this habit. This does not imply that we should give up all material belongings. Rather, we ought to cultivate a positive rapport with them. Realize that rather than being a source of pleasure or approval, things are actually instruments that may be used to enhance our lives and the lives of others. Practicing thankfulness, which involves focusing on what really matters and being grateful for what we have, is one technique to help create detachment. We have the power to foster contentment and lessen our reliance on material belongings. Additionally, by escaping the grip of consumerism, we can embrace minimalism, simplifying our lives and letting go of pointless distractions. We can conform our behavior to Stoic ideals. We can concentrate on cultivating virtues, create deep relationships with others, and making positive contributions to society. This mental adjustment enables us to live a Stoic life and experience true satisfaction. In conclusion, an overabundance of material attachments undermines our ability to practice Stoic philosophy. It diverts our attention from internal values and the pursuit of long-term contentment. We can break free from the cycle of want and find full fulfillment in the growth of virtues and Stoic life by realizing the transient nature of external things and practicing detachment habit. Number 5. Seeking habit 5. Seeking external validation. External validation. It is a habit that can undermine your Stoic philosophy practice to look for outside validation. The Stoic school of thought emphasizes the value of putting more emphasis on one's own virtues than on winning over other people. Over-reliance on outside validation might weaken your independence and make you reliant on other people's opinions, because social media platforms are becoming more and more prominent in today's culture. Getting acceptance from others has become normal. We frequently depend our sense of happiness and self-worth on how many likes, comments, and follows. We get dependence on the views and approval of others, can result in a fragile sense of self-worth due to the persistent need for acceptance. Stoic philosophy, however, serves as a reminder that true contentment and happiness originate within the significance of cultivating characteristics like wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control is emphasized by Stoic philosophers. These virtues are independent of other people's acceptance or opinions. Rather, they are traits we are able to develop and strengthen within ourselves. Independent of the environment around us, we cede our power. When we look to other people for approval all the time, we grow susceptible to shifting viewpoints and start to base our self-worth on their acceptance. This might result in a never-ending search for approval from others, which makes it challenging to discover inner peace and fulfillment. Think about an example to help you understand this practice. Let's say you've worked very hard and are proud of the blog article you've published, rather of appreciating the worth of your effort and the fulfillment. It provides you instantly look for validation by counting the amount of views, likes and comments you feel let down and start to question the worth of your work. If the feedback is not what you were hoping for, relying on validation from others undermines your self-worth and reduces the inherent worth of your endeavors. How, therefore, can we break out from this pattern and strengthen our Stoic philosophy practice? First of all, it's critical to understand that chasing after outside acceptance is transient and frequently beyond of our control. People's opinions might shift. Therefore, trying to win them over is a never-ending endeavor. Rather, concentrate on cultivating inner virtues and directing your behavior in accordance with Stoic ideals. Develop self-acceptance and self-awareness. When pursuing approval, be aware of your feelings and ideas. Consider whether it genuinely fits with your values and objectives, and ask yourself why you require acceptance from others. Recall that your activities and character establish your value rather than the views of others. Gain self-assurance in your capacity to evaluate and decide for yourself. By assessing your acts in light of Stoic ideals, you might work toward internal acceptance. Put more emphasis on your own growth and development than on how you compare to other people. Recognize that your joy and happiness originate internally, not elsewhere. Instead of surrounding yourself with people who continually criticize or make you feel self-conscious, surround yourself with people who value and promote your growth. Seek input from people you can trust and who genuinely care about you. But keep in mind that your work shouldn't be defined by their ideas. To sum up, the habit of always seeking acceptance from others undermines the practice of Stoic philosophy, since it fails to acknowledge the pointlessness of depending on other people's judgments to evaluate oneself. We might concentrate on cultivating virtues within and achieving inner satisfaction, develop self-awareness and a community of support. You can improve your use of Stoic philosophy and live a more morally satisfying life. Habit number 6. Inability to cope with. Habit 6. Inability to cope with negative emotions. Negative emotions. The Stoic school of thought emphasizes the value of reason and the necessity of controlling our emotions, but we are unable to remain composed and behave honorably when we give in to unpleasant feelings like jealousy, anxiety, or rage. Let's explore this subject in more detail and discover how giving in to unfavorable feelings affects both our Stoic practice and general well-being. Emotions that are negative in some way suppress logic and impair judgment. We frequently respond hastily and say or do things we later regret when anger takes over. Envy can cause us to feel resentful and bitter, which can hurt our relationships and immobilize us so that we are unable to take required risks or face obstacles. These feelings not only impair our judgment, but they also prevent us from growing in the qualities of self-control. Kindness and patience. Emotions are viewed in Stoic philosophy as impressions that result from our assessment of the outside world. Stoics hold that we are in charge of our assessments and thus our feelings. Through engaging in mindfulness and self-awareness practices, we can scrutinize our ideas and assessments, confront thoughts that elicit negative emotions, and cultivate thoughts that align with logic and morality. Apathy is one of the core ideas of Stoic philosophy. Complete emotional detachment is a concept that's often misinterpreted, but it's really about building emotional resilience and preserving inner peace in the face of adversity, not about rejecting or repressing feelings. While Stoics accept that unpleasant feelings are normal and inevitable, they advise us to deal with them rationally and with restraint. So, how can we improve our Stoic practice and break the pattern of giving in to bad emotions? These are a few tactics. But for one, develop mindful through mindfulness practices which help us become more conscious of our feelings. As they come up by practicing mindfulness, we may watch our thoughts and feelings without becoming consumed by them. This consciousness gives us the chance to stop and select a more deliberate reaction, rather than acting on impulse. 2. Cast doubt on your assessments. Examine the underlying assessments that are causing unpleasant emotions to surface. When they do, are your conclusions based on a fair analysis of the circumstances, or are they skewed by prejudice or unfounded beliefs? Restructuring and challenging these assessments can assist in altering your viewpoint and lowering the severity of unfavorable feelings. Number 3, make self-reflection a regular habit. Consider your ideas, deeds, and the results of them. Recognize the patterns that keep coming up and see what other responses you can have. By reflecting on yourself, you can find areas where you could improve and create practical techniques for handling your emotions. The 4, choose virtue above retaliation. When you're feeling bitter or angry, remind yourself of the Stoic ideal of putting morality above vengeance or fostering animosity when acting out of negative emotions. Think about the long-term effects and make an effort to respond in a way that is forgiving, compassionate and kind. 5, welcome calmness. The Stoic school of thought encourages us to accept the things we cannot change and concentrate on the things we can acquire. A calm attitude, understanding that things happen to you and that other people cannot influence. You can discover serenity by letting go of the impulse to control everything and lessen the effects of unpleasant emotions. By regularly putting the techniques into practice, we can improve our Stoic practice and lessen our tendency to give in to negative emotions. It's critical to keep in mind that this procedure requires patience and work. Even if we could make mistakes along the road, every setback offers a chance for development and education. Embrace the Stoic values of self-awareness and tenacity as you work toward a more moral and fulfilling existence. In conclusion, the practice of Stoicism is undermined when we let our negative emotions control our behavior. Instead, we should cultivate awareness, examine our judgments, engage in self-reflection, choose virtue over vengeance, and embrace peace. Negative emotions can be gradually lessened in our life by doing this. We live more morally upright and satisfying lives by harmonizing with Stoicism, rationalism, resilience, and inner peace habit. The habit 7, dwelling on past mistakes. Your ability to practice Stoic philosophy may be compromised by your tendency to dwell on previous transgressions. Stoic philosophy encourages us to stop thinking about our faults and instead focus on the here and now, accept what has happened and learn from it. But a lot of us frequently find ourselves caught in a vicious cycle of regret, remorse and self-blame that keeps us from moving on and growing. As people, reliving past mistakes over and over again in our imaginations feeds unpleasant feelings and a sense of immobility. This tendency hinders us from making good changes and really apologizing the present, in addition to impairing our capacity to discover serenity and contentment. Realizing that there is nothing we can do to change the past is one of the fundamental ideas of Stoic philosophy. Remarkably, what truly terrifies and dismays us is not the actual events themselves, but rather the way we interpret them, as the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said. This quotation highlights how important it is for our ideas and beliefs to influence how we perceive the outside world. By concentrating on previous errors, we give in to the negative ideas and feelings that consume us and cause needless anguish. Stoic philosophy, on the other hand, urges us to accept the deeds and results of the past, own up to them, and concentrate on what we can do right now to better our situation and ourselves. It's critical to exercise forgiveness and compassion in order to break this behavior, because we are fallible human beings. Mistakes happen. Furthermore, making errors is a necessary component of learning and development. Rather than blaming ourselves for previous transgressions, we should work towards self-acceptance and understanding. It can be beneficial to stop viewing mistakes as failures and instead see them as opportunities for growth. We can see them as worthwhile teachings that advance our own growth. Every era presents a chance for development, and advancement adopting this perspective allows us to put the past behind us and concentrate on the here and now. Mindfulness is another effective method for breaking the habit of thinking back on past eras by bringing our attention to the present. Mindfulness entails focusing on it without passing judgment. We have the ability to escape the loop of regret and give our whole attention to the present moment. Moreover, cultivating an attitude of thankfulness can be highly beneficial in diverting our focus from previous eras. We can change our perspective and foster a sense of fulfillment by developing a practice of thankfulness for the present, as well as the lessons learned from the past event EV. It takes deliberate effort and a dedication to putting the tenets of Stoic philosophy into practice to overcome the tendency of brooding over past transgressions. It's critical to keep in mind that we have a choice in how we respond to our history, and lingering on regrets will only prevent us from leading happy moral lives. By accepting self-compassion, engaging in mindfulness exercises, and cultivating an attitude of gratitude, we can break free from this habit and develop a more stoic outlook. We have the ability to grow as people learn from our mistakes and focus our energies on pursuing virtue and living in the now to live a more purposeful and moral life. Endeavor to break free from the bonds of regret about the past and adopt the Stoic philosophy's precepts. Habit in the freight ignore, ignoring the habit 8. Ignoring the well-being of others. In Stoic philosophy, the idea of cosmopolitanism highlights the notion that everyone is a member of the human community at large, and that we should all be concerned about their well-being. Ignoring other people's needs and suffering can erode our moral virtue and empathy, which impedes the development of ethical traits. The Stoic school of thought encourages us to develop virtues like wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation, as well as to live in harmony with the natural world. The virtue of benevolence or kindness toward others is one of the core qualities stressed by Stoic philosophy. This idea is broken when we disregard the well-being of others, which also has the potential to cause us to become estranged from one another. We lose empathy for other people's problems, needs, and suffering. When we don't care about their well-being, this indifference can take many different forms, such as a lack of empathy for the suffering of the less fortunate, or a disregard for other people's well-being while failing to offer support or assistance. We lose out on the chance to put empathy and compassion into practice, which are essential for the formation of moral character. Stoic philosophy teaches us that by acknowledging the interdependence of all people, we should see each individual as deserving of respect, consideration, and empathy. We can cultivate empathy and take actions that advance other people's well-being. We lose out on the advantages of doing deeds of kindness and generosity when we neglect the well-being of others. Research indicates that deeds of kindness have a favorable effect on the giver's well-being. In addition to the recipient, we can feel content, like we have a purpose, and connected when we actively look out for the welfare of other people. In addition, when we disregard the well-being of others, we perpetuate the egocentric perspective that impedes our own growth, according to Stoic philosophy. Leading a moral life and acting in a way that upholds morality and reason will bring us true happiness and contentment. By disregarding other people's well-being, we become prisoners of our own selfishness and self-interest. When we lose sight of this essential reality, to break out from this pattern and fortify our Stoic philosophy practice, we must cultivate empathy and kindness for others. This can be achieved by adopting the virtue of benevolence and actively learning about the viewpoints and experiences of others via deeds of kindness. In addition to upholding the Stoic philosophy we practice, we also help to bring about a compassionate and peaceful world By encouraging people's well-being and a feeling of community, we become agents of positive change. In conclusion, ignoring the welfare of conclusion. Others is a habit that weakens our practice of Stoic philosophy. By recognizing the importance of empathy and godwit, we can actively work to overcome this habit and cultivate a greater concern for the welfare of all humanity. In doing so, we not only strengthen our own character, but also contribute to the creation of a more ethical and compassionate society through 8 habits that make you weak. We have delved deeply into the wisdom of a Stoic philosophy and how its principles can equip us to overcome these habits. All of these habits can be transformed by applying Stoic thinking. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on what we can control, nurture virtues and face life's challenges with courage and patience. It encourages us to find happiness in the present moment and relinquish the need for external approval and material possessions. It empowers us to step out of our comfort zone and learn from the past without being bound by regret as you embark on the journey of transforming weakness into strength. Remember that change takes time and effort. Be patient with yourself and practice Stoic principles regularly in your daily life. With dedication and perseverance, you can break free from these habits and live a purposeful, resilient, and tranquil life. Embrace the teachings of Stoic philosophy, seek acceptance from within, replace complaints with gratitude, prioritize virtue over material wealth, face challenges with courage and let go of the past. By doing so, you will begin a transformational journey that leads you to a life of strength, wisdom, and lasting happiness. The journey is yours, and the destination is within reach. Seize today and transform your life with Stoic philosophy. Thank you for watching this video. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please like and share it with others who may benefit from it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We hope you will continue to follow us and learn and grow together.